Excellent. No, just got the notification. Very cool.
Alrighty, we are live. So let's see. The last minute technical details. We've already got a few folks joining us live here. And here's my co-host, Evan Gregor, who first came up with this idea for oops, my video is still off. There we go.
Well,
More
we
of
say it's
Tap with Brad.
anonymous, right? So,
Exactly. It's an anonymous program. Um, Hello, Richard from Spokane. Um, uh, yeah, so was it last year or 2 years ago? Maybe 3 years ago, we did the Advancing Man program. And based on this idea that so many of the groups sessions that we do with tapping are predominantly, if not entirely, female, which is awesome. Nothing wrong with that. But knowing that us guys can use this work too, and for various reasons, we we feel uncomfortable doing so, especially if it is a female-dominated space, because most, if not in all of us, have a certain amount of programming about being macho and not showing vulnerability and not asking for directions and not saying that we there's anything we need to work on. Oh, we've got it handled. It's done. Now they got nothing to work on. And hey, not judging anyone for that. No shame there. But but don't miss out on life because that stance can we can miss out. I was talking to someone yesterday who has a client who's created an awesome life and has come from a very, very difficult past. And I said, I so admire you for doing this work because for most people, they would say, "Oh my God, how if you've gone from here to here, what more could there be?" And you're still saying, "Yeah, but nothing's so good it can't get better. Why settle for less than the most awesome life?" And so Evan reached out to me and said, "Hey, let's create a space for guys so that that we can do that together in a space where it might feel more comfortable to do so."
Yeah. Well, thanks again for having me here. And it's always great to spend this time with you for sure. Being a male role model in the space, which I think is a very important aspect. It's something that we talk about being very important, but often don't know where to look. And also, the conversation around men and emotional challenges right now, it's very in the news, right?
Yeah.
Loneliness, desperation, and most of the answers we get about it, most of the conversations that are public facing, are about what to do to sort of fix the externalities. Get out there, go to the gym, etc. But not as much conversation about how do you actually work with the feeling of loneliness, with the emotion of fill in the blank, as well as what does it actually mean to be in touch with your emotions and all of these different things. So that conversation is a little lacking just because it's not as obvious as an external solution. And feeling like this work that I've learned from you and other people over the years, this really works and it's practical and it's effective, but there's some differences in the container, in the context. And really, two things sparked me reaching out to you. One was the video I sent you where there were a couple people like Dr. K talking about, men should really explore this tapping thing that I've been reading about because men like to often do better working with their bodies. And the other being, I forget what I was going to say, what the other one was, but yeah, there's just this real need for how do we actually approach this in a way that the other number two was conversations with male clients who literally said to me, I would never have done any of this type of work. I would never have reached out to you if there wasn't this environment before where I could watch anonymously.
Yeah.
I was part of some men's groups and things like that before where it wasn't expected, okay, raise your hand, we all take turns talking. It's like I needed to sit back, get a feel for this, not be expected to share, not be expected to talk. Like, what does this look like? What are these guys doing up there? And a lot of the environments for tapping and emotional processing are kind of like, hey, everyone, cameras on, let's share our feelings. That's good, but a lot, like I said, a lot of men that I've talked to, and those are the ones that actually are already signed up enough to even be working one-on-one, are like, that's a bridge too far in the beginning. Not
Yeah.
that they can't do it or are weaker or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
just a
absolutely.
different context.
It's just programming. We enter into the work, any kind of work, as much as we can given our programming. So, yes, creating a place where someone can be anonymous and can, feel like a fly on the wall. I just want to check this out and get the benefits. And when we go into the tapping, the great things about EFT tapping is the phenomenon that we call borrowing benefits, where you can be the fly on the wall and tapping along with whatever issue we're tapping on and get benefit from it. And it is that space where we can do it where you don't even have to be talking about it. It's not a matter of come out here and bare your soul and tell everyone what's really going on for you. And it's like I can just be processing this stuff in my body um, in a reasonably more therapeutic way than the old school. You just need to go out and beat some things up and
Yeah.
chop some wood or you know throw a football around, which are all great things. But sometimes it's a bypass, and what we resist persists. So being able to go into a space and say, okay, I don't want to have to expose myself and what I'm feeling, but I still want to be able to start getting some benefit. And, that can be a gateway to all kinds of things. And it may just be as far as someone wants to go, but at least it's an opening. And just to be clear, because judging from some of the comments in the chat, there are some women watching, which is fine. Um, because hopefully you might have a man or some men in your life that you could say, "Hey, you know what? There are these two guys who tap on their face for a living, and they're doing this thing that you might find kind of cool." And because I know there are a number of women, I've worked with so many people who have said, yeah, I try to share it with my husband, my boyfriend, my brother, whatever, my dad, my son. And, they're not so into it. So, finding that, it's like just an opening where it can feel safe for that. And yes, we will be doing some tapping today because, I rarely get on camera without doing some tapping.
Mm-hmm.
But but part of this is also what Evan and I are doing today is just setting the stage for this what we hope will be a series called The Advancing Man. Um, when Evan first came to me and said, let's do this thing for men. And many of you are aware of stop for just a moment. Feel free to be tapping right now. Go ahead and be either collarbone or tapping through points. As long as we're here, we don't have to do a formal round, but just take this moment to go, oh, yes, let me clear whatever ambient stress might be there. Um, and so when we were talking about, okay, what do we call it? And many of you are familiar with the book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. The movie The Secret that's the origin of the movie The Secret. And there's a chapter in there called The Advancing Man. And it's just this idea of this person who is growing, this person who is looking to be a better version of themselves. I mean, the science of getting rich, including being a richer version of themselves, but being a richer version of oneself in all ways. So I just thought that would be a cool title for this because that's what we really want to create a space for is for men who want to advance beyond what they've been able to do with the options that seemed to be there for them.
Also, the kind of topics that a lot of men are going to want to process on and do privately, we're probably not going to put a video about them on our channel. And it's a bit of a self perpetuating cycle, right? Because you put up content, you see that most of the comments, most of the viewers are not from men. And so it just sort of, and then the content that men tend to watch tends to be of a certain variety. So, there isn't a tapping video on, one of our channel. Like spending too much time on Instagram looking at, bikini models or something. Like these are very real things that someone's not necessarily going to raise their hand and say, hey, look, this is what's going on for me. I'm addicted to fill in the blank. I'm, incredibly angry at whatever women. I have this. It's just not the kind of thing that you're going to raise your hand on a call with like 40 people. You're the only man there, and the conversations have all been in a certain tone. You're not sure if it's appropriate. It can feel a little strange to talk about these things, and even if the call is all men, it can be strange or feel like you're not sure if it's cool to talk about a certain subject. But when you have someone up there who's, for whatever reason, reasonably comfortable doing this on screen in front of people and saying, like in my case, yeah, to be real, one of the biggest things that got me into this work was being paralyzed to try to talk to a woman, right? Like that's not like the number one video on Brad's channel is, are you paralyzed talking to women, right? Guys don't, but like a huge
Making a
amount.
note for do a video about that. Paralyzed.
So it's also just, it's a gap in subjects that this is a way to address, where you don't have to be the one to volunteer and say, hey, like, is it okay to talk about this in this environment? It's like, I'll bring that up. Say, okay, all right, guys, like, what's going on for you around fill in the blank. And then if you want to like chat, put something in the chat box, for example, that I found will kind of open the door for men. It's not, it's not to sound like men need to be handled with gloves or something. It's literally just a different context that works better. And that sense of, oh, the door has been opened to talk about this. It's totally fine to talk about this anger you're carrying from like rejections. And now if you have something to add to it, you can. Okay, yeah, what about, I can't stop playing the tape of the person that rejected me in middle school. Like, okay, I'm not going to tell you, well, just get over it, or go talk to 1,000 other people. It's like, no, this is how you process that experience so that your nervous system is no longer constantly tagging back to this unresolved thing that happened to you. Like, this isn't a conversation that guys have at a bar.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we'll get a new girlfriend, I guess, or a new
Yeah.
boyfriend, or whatever it is. Like, it's this is a whole thing to learn about, and it is interesting, and it is engaging. It's like to actually process through an unprocessed experience is kind of like going to the gym. It is like physical and visceral. It's not wallowing in your feelings. It's not just talking about it and we're all going to say, oh, yeah, isn't that sad that that happened to you? It's an actual process where the body goes, yeah, we've been holding this. We didn't have any adult or male role model around us at that time to process the experience. Or if they did, they probably gave us horrible advice. and and this is how to
Just go
do it.
get drunk.
Right.
You'll feel better in the morning. Well, you won't feel bad in the morning, but you'll feel better afterwards. Yeah, absolutely.
And this is good for the other people in your life, right? To be able to process and
Amen.
regulate emotions is going to make you better to be around for your family. It's going to help you be a better, whatever, partner, provider, dad.
Yeah.
These types of things are very important because people can feel like the old sort of paradigm of being the stoic dude who's carrying it all on his shoulders but can't have a conversation. You die younger. That doesn't help.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not optimal, but there's a lack of options, and we want to kind of give an option B.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're thinking of a really good Valentine's gift to give to your partner, being being a better version of yourself is probably the best thing you can do. Flowers are nice. I always get roses from my wife, but clearing that stuff, addressing that stuff, not denying that stuff that eats us up inside, that stuff that we've been taught to stuff down, to pretend isn't there. Guys don't feel that. Feelings are for women. Whatever that kind of programming might be. And, you know, that's a choice to live that way. But yeah, as you said, I mean, it leads to an earlier grave generally. And all kinds of unfortunate things behind all kinds of different addictions, all kinds of unhealthy behavior, uh, all kinds of the behavior with the other people in our lives, our partners, our kids, our parents, whatever. Um, we like to believe that, oh yeah, no, that this stuff, that stuff that, the upset that I had when I was 17, that doesn't play into any of my relations with other people now. It doesn't show up at work, or it's like, okay, Sparky, you go with that story. And no shame, but yeah, this is an invitation to be an advancing man and be the best version of yourself in a space where hopefully it feels safer to do so. And with it, so I know some people are like, okay, I got on a live call with Brad, and almost 20 minutes in, there's been no tapping. So let's do a quick tapping round. Let's get into some tapping here. So everyone, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it, and let it go. Now, just breathing comfortably with your eyes closed. Breathing comfortably, and go ahead and feel your feet on the floor or whatever part of you is connected to something. Allowing yourself to feel that connection. Allow yourself to feel centered and grounded. Allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible, so as to receive maximum benefit from our time together. And just following your breath through your body, just allow yourself to be aware of what's going on in there. And go ahead and rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. And this is a positive scale. So 10 is awesome, magnificent, just feeling really great. And don't judge yourself harshly if the number is lower than you'd like it to be. Just allow yourself to be aware of where it might be. And notice where you feel that in your body. Notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how much discomfort might be there. It may be physical discomfort. It may be emotional discomfort. You may be aware of, oh, you know what? I am holding on to something from when I was 17 or 7 or 7 months old. And just allow yourself to be aware of that stuff. Ask yourself, why do I hold on to this? Not in a judgmental way, just a curious way. It's like, okay, what part of me feels that I should hang on to this? I should just stuff that down. How do I think it's protecting me? What am I afraid would happen if I didn't keep holding on to this? Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and just tap where I tap and repeat back what I say. Even though I'm holding on to some stuff, I choose to love and accept myself. Even though I'm holding on to some stuff, I choose to love and honor myself. Even though I'm holding on to some stuff, and it's my stuff, I have a right to hang on to it if I want to. And I'm giving myself permission to see if I might let some of it go. And even though I'm holding on to some stuff, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And maybe anyone else who might be involved. Because I choose to feel that free. All right, going through the points. All the stuff I'm holding on to. All the stuff I'm holding on to. All this fear of letting it go. And part of me might be saying, it's not fear. It's my right to hold on to this. And I do have a right to hold on to this. I also have a right to let it go. Allowing myself to see what is holding on to this stuff costing me. How does it limit my health? How is it limiting my happiness? It might even be limiting my wealth. And I haven't allowed myself to consider that. I'm giving myself permission to do so now. Is it worth it to hold on to this? And I'm allowing myself to listen to the voice that says, yeah, we need to hang on to this. Whatever it might be costing us. So what am I afraid of? And maybe I'm just afraid of admitting their stuff. Maybe my ego wants to say there is no stuff. I'm not hanging on to anything from the past. I've got this covered. I'm all good. And I'm allowing myself to process that. Because even if things are good, nothing is so good that it can't get better. So I'm giving myself permission to see where I might be holding on to some things. And see if I can let those go. Seeing what I might be able to let go of. Seeing if there's sadness or trauma that I might want to let go of. Anger or resentment. Fear or doubt. Embarrassment or humiliation. Shame or guilt. I'm giving myself permission to release what's no longer serving my health, wealth, and happiness. Allowing myself to be joyfully free in body, mind, and spirit. Take a deep breath and let it go. Close your eyes and just check in and let that process for a moment. And just see what, hopefully that, think again of this scale of 0 to 10, 10 again being magnificent, awesome. And hopefully maybe that number has come up. And when we're tapping, it's often like peeling the layers of the onion. And so we get more clear of, oh, I may not be feeling, the number may not necessarily feel higher right at the moment, but I have more awareness of, oh, here's what I need to work on. And I'll bet they're going to cover that in the Advancing Man series. um, checking through the comments here. Thank you for all the nice comments. And ciao, Martin. The Adriatic. Spent some time swimming in the Adriatic this summer. It was very sublime.
Oh, I bet.
Do you want to lead us through a tapping round?
Sure, I'd love to. Yeah. And let's go slightly different direction with it in this case. So
Cool.
let's take a situation, especially if perhaps you've been sent to this, because a couple people said like, oh, I'm going to send my husband to this, right? And this might be a little newer to you. Think of something, could be in your work, could just be something you experience in your day-to-day life, where you notice a pattern, you notice you have an emotional response. and it's something that's just, you don't respond to it the way you'd like to. So just sort of recalling that event, however it looks like for you, whether that's the specific event itself or just that pattern of emotional response you're familiar with. Perhaps you get short-tempered. Maybe you're short-tempered with your partner or your family, or you're at work, for an example, and you have difficulty speaking up. You have something you want to say to your boss, you want to ask for a raise, and you feel a lot of inner conflict around that. So here's what I'm going to invite you to do. Since we're already in this space, because Brad gave us that great round, just start tapping. You can use your collarbone if you're not as familiar with the points here. I know the regulars are, but you'll still get benefit from this. You might find this pretty interesting. So as you're recalling or thinking about that event, what I'd like you to do is notice how when that situation comes up and you feel that energy of anger or self-doubt, notice how quickly your mind goes to how to solve the problem in the world, especially for men, right? I need to figure out what to say to my boss. I need to go learn how to be more patient. Next time, I'm going to try to do it differently, which is just thinking. Right? And then next time you do it again and you have the same thought. I'll try to do it differently next time. As you're tapping, think of that emotion, that feeling of anger or frustration. I'm going to ask you to put your attention on it, just like if I say right now, put your attention on your left shoulder. Now, you've had a left shoulder this entire call, but when I say put your attention on it, notice how you're now aware of that. Maybe it's been a little tense, right? Maybe, oh yeah, I need to move that left shoulder a little bit. So notice how bringing your consciousness to something makes you aware of the details. So I'm going to ask you in a similar way, it's hard to describe how you do it, but when I say just put your attention on your left shoulder, you just kind of know how to do that. So put your attention on the emotional experience, whether it's that frustration, whether it's that anger, feeling of lack, you would use the word lack of confidence. And notice how of course, it doesn't feel good. That's why you want to find a way to behave in the world to change it. But we're actually asking you to turn your attention towards it and even be interested in it. Wow, look at that. Partner says X and this emotion comes up. I step into the office, suddenly I feel this performance anxiety. Just look at that, like, wow, that's interesting. There's a physical experience in my body right now. Breathe into it and allow your mind to say, okay, how do I fix it? How do I change it? But notice that being conscious of it, staying present with it, has a very different quality. It's something that needs your attention. It doesn't need to be solved. And now let's do it like a little bit of a more formal round. You can go to the side of the hand and say, even though this emotion is here, and I want to figure out what to do to change how I feel. I choose to honor and accept myself right where I am. Even though this emotion is active, and my whole life I have been trained, okay, figure out how to solve this problem. I am open to a new way of being with this that might actually work better. So even though this emotion is active, I might notice it as a pattern in my life that I've been trying to change through effort. I'm open to a radical possibility that by turning towards the emotion itself, not as a problem to change, but as information to learn from, I may find an actual solution. And let's go through the points now. Just say, yeah, I notice this emotion is here. Maybe there's a whole pattern of behavior. I may have even explored it, and I can tell in great detail. Yeah, that's because of this, and then the boss said this. I might even know that's a pattern that comes from my dad. All of that knowledge is a completely different experience than what it is to turn into the emotion itself. And just like I can put my attention on a body part, that's all I'm doing here. I'm not running away from it. We love those romantic sounding phrases. Like, I'm going to confront myself. Right? I'm going to conquer my inner demons. Well, this is what that actually looks like. To notice an uncomfortable emotion, an uncomfortable physical sensation, and say, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to move towards it. I'm going to notice that when I try to think about how to fix the problem, I'm actually retreating from the feeling. And I don't want to retreat. I want to be able to be with this. And looking at something uncomfortable, while I'm tapping on these points, is actually telling my body, not through words, but through actual experience, we can look at this uncomfortable feeling. We can be here with it and handle it. And it's extremely likely that whenever this pattern was first formed, whenever this anger first showed up, this impatience or resentment, it happened at an age or a time when I actually couldn't be with it. I had to move away from it. It was too much for my system. But as I look at this now, from the space I'm in right now, sending this signal to my body, I can be with this. I can be present with this. Then it's allowed to move through me. I now have the bandwidth to process things I couldn't before. And every time I do this, I support that process a little more. This actually builds the muscle of being able to handle emotions, of being able to allow that anger or frustration to move through me and not have to be taken out on my coworkers or my partner. This is what allows that feeling of insecurity to be felt and move through me. So then I can actually go talk to that person from a place of more centeredness and not trying to remember a script or a pickup line or this is what to say to your boss YouTube video. The more I can actually allow the emotion to be felt and move through me, the more I can actually be myself and communicate in a way that's way more powerful, that has nothing to do with faking it or trying to be confident. All right, let's just take a breath there. And check in with that emotion, and I'm almost more interested in your ability to not be overwhelmed by it than whether or not it's gone. Because you're going to deal with things where emotions come up. Right? We can't promise you a program where you never have emotional responses to things. But I think especially for us men, it is a default posture to say, "Ooh, that's insecure. Get away from that. Show me the things to say and do so that I never have to feel that again." But actual strength is, okay, there's that feeling. Bring it on. I know what to do with you. I know where you're coming from. I can listen to you.
Yeah, not running away from it. Processing these things rather than conquering them. It's not a matter of it. I had that thought as you're going through it, because that was awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
There was that thought of, yeah, it's just allowing ourselves to be present to what's there instead of this is a bad thing I need to destroy. And um, thinking of that scene in Avengers Endgame where the remaining Avengers find Thanos' planet and they go in there and Thor just rushes in with his axe and cuts off Thanos' head. And they're like, "What did you just do?" And it's that male programming response of it was the enemy I just destroyed. It's like, yes, but now we can't. Now we're stuck. Um, unless you have Tony Stark to figure out time travel. But since we don't have that,
Right.
we we can look at, okay, what is, allowing ourselves to be present and recognizing that, acknowledging that we have these feelings is not weakness, it's strength to be able to say, there's this stuff here. And I'm going to face it, and I'm going to process it, and you know, not just go into a place of fixing. You know, um, Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Kind of guys just got to fix it. Okay, if there's something there, I just need to go and fix that right away. And going, okay, the healthiest way to address it is to look at it and acknowledge it's there, and let me and in identifying it, we, as you had said in there, we learn from it. Then it's an opportunity for growth, as opposed to this is something that I'm ashamed of or embarrassed about or is wrong with me. It's like, ooh, growth opportunity.
Yeah. And whatever you learn, whatever advice, there's nothing wrong with learning how to have a conversation about how to ask for a raise. But when you can take what you've learned as information and use it from, a more stable, calm, emotional nervous system state, that's when the real magic happens, because you're not using a technique to try to override what you're feeling. And I think that's why people are really stressed now even when learning a lot of techniques, because luckily things are getting more mainstream. But there is definitely a nuance between like using something to manage or override a state versus how do you process something, which is actually not to try to calm it down, right? Like with the tapping, the tapping is the thing saying this is safe, but you're not telling the feeling don't be nervous, right? It's like feeling the nervousness while this other process is sending a different signal to the body. So if you're constantly regulating emotions and constantly trying to learn tools to, well, I'm really scared to death of my career, but I've found this breathing technique that I do 600 times a day to muscle through it, it's better than nothing. But this is a very, very different framework, and why this type of processing and talking to the emotion itself. You hear Brad in the video say, even though there's a part of me that feels this, right? You learn how to relate to yourself. It'll also transfer better to your external relationships, because when you learn how to relate to emotions and experiences inside yourself, it's pretty wild that you see, oh, this is how I talk to everyone. Whatever mechanisms I use in here are the exact ways I'm talking to other people in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the key thing is the tapping it that naturally calms us down and makes it safe to address. It's not I've got this thing, I need to just get rid of it, tap it away. I'm calming myself down so that I can give myself permission to look at it. Where does this come from?
Yeah.
Why am I using this? How do I think this is serving me? You know, everything that we do, there's a positive intention behind it, maybe extremely misguided. But there's something inside because of programming that I have, maybe what I was directly told, or maybe my misinterpretation of what was said to me is here's how you make life work. Here's
Yeah.
how you handle situations. Here's, if it's like an old computer in computer programming, if then, if this stimulus happens, then this response, and being able to look at that and go, okay, what do I really want? What do I really want from life? It's funny as you were going through that, I was thinking, um, maybe instead of advancing man, we should call it the authentic man. Really get into the authentic of who we are underneath that. But I think we should stick with advancing man.
We already made the logo, right?
We've already made the
No,
logo. We've
yeah,
done the
can
done
already
the
always
the,
change it.
the website and everything.
But super important, I think for men in particular, right? Because also a lot of the content that we consume, and you've worked with me on this specifically many times, so you feel free to use me as an example from seeing it on your side. Um, there is a very common program of using pretty harsh ways of motivating yourself, right? And the problem is it kind of works. So I've been very hard on myself in ways that generated results. So internally it's like, well, why would you want to give that up? I mean, it's not fun to be talking to yourself like that all day. It's not fun to feel those emotions, but there's a very logical part of us that goes, well, that's my edge. That's how, what, I'm just going to sit around and love myself and tell myself, yeah, oh, Evan, you're doing such a great job. How is that going to get me out of bed? Right? When you don't have a frame of reference for anything else, it seems like that would be the effect, that you would just lay around because discipline, harshness is a motivating factor. I mean, look at the military. Look at these. It's like, this is how you get stuff done.
I cleaned my room because my mom yelled at me or grounded me. And so that kind of harsh motivation is, it's what I call being motivated by misery.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make it so uncomfortable that, that I'll take action. And I do. We talk about the old thing about the stick and the carrot. Most of us have very little programming around the carrot. It's all about the stick. It's like, so I have to use the stick on myself to motivate me. And we have this fear, and actually people keep tapping here, processing stuff. We have this fear that if not for the stick, I won't get anything done. You know, spare the rod and spoil the child. Spare the rod and I'll spoil myself. And this is how I get myself to make money. This is how I get myself to exercise. This is how I get myself to this, that, or the other thing. And this idea that if I learn to love myself right where I'm at, then I'll have no motivation. I call BS. Because when you love someone, you want them to have the best life, you know?
Yeah.
I'm out there this morning and I'm out running this morning in the park. Not because I'm telling myself, "Oh man, you're so stupid. You need to lose weight. Need to get better." It's like, no, I love feeling good. I want to see how healthy I can be. I want to I have a lot of work I want to do. I want to be teaching tapping to people on stages all around the world. I got to be in good health for that. And so I want to I need money to be able to travel places. Um, and plus I want to give myself these experiences. So it's a gift. So being motivated from that excitement about life. So allowing yourself to process it and recognizing it's no, just recognize we have so much programming about being motivated by misery, and it's the stick that gets the response and gets the results. But allowing yourself to recognize, boy, and when you and as you said, it so often works. It's like, hey, I did it, but there's a lack of joy there, and so it goes to the question about what does success mean. So I saw a clip recently of Rhonda Byrne, who produced the film The Secret, and someone was saying, "Do you have to feel good in order to succeed?" And she said, "Well, it certainly helps in terms of law of attraction, in terms of feeling good." She says, "There are some people who are so disciplined that they will be able to make themselves do those things that get success. So it's not necessary. It may not be necessary to feel good." And I'm like, hold on a minute here. If you're not feeling good, is that really success?
Right.
If you're a billionaire and you're miserable, to me, that's not success. Success is health, wealth, and happiness. It's so to say, okay, it works. It's like, okay, I got a certain result. I may have gotten a certain amount of money. I may have, reached a certain weight on the bathroom scale. But did I enjoy myself? How am I feeling emotionally? And so, so again, in because especially for guys, I know a lot of women get this program as well. So not being dismissive of that, but a lot of guys have a lot of programming about what success means, and you have to have this, and screw feeling good. That's not what success. Success is having more than the other person and beating the other person and all of that. And so part of this advancing man is creating a space where we can say, that's one thing. It's a choice, but it's not that, this or that. It's not, you can conquer everything and be miserable, or you can feel good about yourself, but you're going to have to settle for, second best and whatever's left over. It's like, no. There are plenty of people out there living life this way, having career success, financial success, health success, and happiness. And it's creating that space to say, okay, I want that.
Man, and why this is so important, I feel like, in a very, I mean, serious way, is a lot of what drives that behavior of like more and more accomplishment is it's programmed very young, and it's even very cultural, at least here in the West, and I actually know other countries too very much. The idea is, okay, it's worth pushing yourself because there's this hypothetical reward that happens someday. So you will grind really hard, you will get to that place of success, and then you're supposed to feel good. Now, what I've learned and listened to some colleagues talk about as well is the scariest place for a lot of people is once they achieve those things and you realize that doesn't reprogram anything. Having $1 billion, you no, your nervous system doesn't go, oh, there's a number in a bank account. I'm going to undo all the wiring of my entire life that's been driven by fear and competitiveness. You don't know how to be calm. You don't know how to feel relaxed. These are feeling things. These are internal things. We all hear that, but it's so deeply ingrained that once I achieve a certain amount, and no matter how many stories we hear, right? We all know the performers, the celebrities are like, I made all this money and then my life fell apart. But we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, but that wouldn't happen to me. Like, well, let me get the $1 million and then find out, right? That's always.
Yeah.
But if you, the more you understand, and it's just logical, it's just true that feeling is an internal experience. Being able to process, you will just have the problems or the ways of relating to the world, plus all of the headaches that can come with having $1 million. All the people that now want something from you, right? It's not like the skies just part and life becomes easy. So it's better to learn this now. And it's better to learn how to process emotions and connect to yourself and work with yourself in this way, because however you feel now is going to be how things are programmed. That will not just change automatically. And then, of course, the irony is that the more regulated you feel, and when you do kind of these processes like tapping through something like we did on this call, that's where your system gets a taste of what inspiration and moving from inspiration actually feels like, right? You have to experience it because it can sound abstract, right? If Brad is saying, well, I go to the park and I do these things because it's coming from a place of inspiration, if you don't know what that actually feels like, it's just a concept, right? But when you feel it and you feel inspired to do something and you feel more emotionally clear around it, it's amazing to feel that it is a very different energy source. It's like using solar versus you got to dig a bunch of coal every day and throw it into an oven and, like, do all this complicated stuff. Energy that's inspired has a very different flavor to it, and it will become unquestionably clear that I can easily be just as productive, if not more clear-headed. I find it tends to lead way into working smarter than harder. Discipline definitely works hard. The more I've done this work, the more I've learned how to work smart, which is very much a work in progress. But it's actually destabilizing a little bit. It's unfamiliar to my nervous system still a little bit to be like, well, you should be doing this for 6 hours a day, and like kind of the programming I had for so long. Meanwhile, like, I'll have accomplished the same amount or done something that worked much better in less time. It's like, wow, okay, let me tap with that. Let me sit with that and say, dude, you're okay. You did it. Well, now what do I do with this extra hour? Enjoy it. Do something else. Do something interesting. Spend time with something. Read, right? It's like you're getting the same amount done, if not more. So this is a very real thing that I really want you all to experience and not be chasing a goal that when you get there, you're going to be even worse shape, because at least before you were chasing the success. I'm unhappy, but at least when I get the success, it's going to be happy. When you get there and you're still not happy, this is where, like, you can talk to psychiatrists and other people who say, these are the clients that are often in the most severe state because they got nothing to go with. So let's avoid that.
Indeed. Indeed. Let's be advancing men and in not play the I'll be happy when game. And even for some people it's like, and even if I'm not happy, I'm still winning. and
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I'm miserable, but I've got the prize, and so that validates me as a man. It's like we deserve better, and the people that we love deserve better. So this is what we're going to be doing in the Advancing Man. The very first one is going to be next week, this coming Thursday, and putting the uh, putting the link in the chat there. So it's tapwithbrad.com/advancing man. And hope you'll check that out. For the guys, hope you'll check that out for the ladies. If you have somebody that you think would benefit from this, please please share that with them. And yeah.
Yeah, the format is going to be kind of like this, and we did this intentionally, where it's not a Zoom call where you're all going to show up and see each other's faces and stuff. It's webinar style, so it's going to be somewhat similar to YouTube, like where you will just see Brad and I on the screen. If you don't want anyone to know you're there, they won't know unless you voluntarily put something in the chat. You can even change your name on the chat because the privacy thing is important in this context. And you don't have to come in prepared to talk about your feelings. You don't have to say, but what I like about that structure is you can. So you can put things in the chat and we will incorporate them, but you don't have to. And we find that often you'll get the ball rolling because one person shares and there's something very encouraging around, wow, I'm not the only guy in the world feeling this. Cool. We can actually, and we'll tap on stuff you'll never see us tap on on a YouTube live because it's just the context.
It's a little teaser there. Um, yeah. And Nico, Anna, Jean, yeah, obviously I'm not at all saying that these are not issues that women face with the being motivated by the stick and things like that. Um,
Nico's actually a teacher of mine.
oh, excellent.
Taught me a lot
Excellent.
about different types of trauma and reparenting with tapping.
Oh, fantastic.
Very cool
Fantastic.
stuff. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that work. Um, you know, and so this is not to be exclusive and say, we don't do this because I work with so many women in my other groups, but creating a space, a safe, what feels like a safe or more reasonable or however, you know, for for so many of us guys, it's like it's not a comfortable space, but to even say it's a safe space, well, I don't need a safe space because I'm a guy. So it's not even safe to suggest that we need a safe space. Um, and I know that there are plenty of groups out there that are just women, and it's a safer place for women. Um, Evan and I are not the best people to run such a group because of a Y chromosome. Um, to create a space where there is that just hey, it's just a place for people who identify as men, he, him, and yeah. So hopefully you will join us for that. Um, and yeah, I I know we're at the top of the hour. I know folks have places to go, and I didn't even discuss this with you, Evan. But whenever I do a live session, I generally end it with a guided imagery. So and I know that a lot of folks who get on live events with me expect that, and I hate to disappoint anyone. So if you have someplace you need to go, then by all means, thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you for considering joining us for the Advancing Man. And the link is there in the chat and down in the description box down below. Um, and again, it's tapwithbrad.com/advancing man. And we'll tap with you soon. And if you have a few more minutes, then please go ahead and get yourself comfortable. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. Another deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. A third deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. Now just breathing comfortably with your eyes closed. Breathing comfortably, and just imagine that with each breath you take in, you breathe in relaxation and positive energy. Go ahead and imagine a healing light of whatever color you like surrounding your body, so that with each breath you take in, your lungs comfortably draw in that healing light, allowing it to flow through every muscle, nerve, fiber, tissue, cell, and atom of your body. Imagine a healing shower flowing down, crystal clear water that's a perfect temperature as it flows over the top of your head, soothing and relaxing your scalp, washing away fear, doubt, anxiety, washing away anger, sadness, guilt, shame, washing away pain, frustration, disappointment, embarrassment, washing these away to reveal the light that you truly are, this unique expression of divine light and love, allowing more and more of that light to be revealed as that healing shower flows over your forehead, relaxing the muscles in your face, flowing down over the back of your head, your neck, your shoulders, washing away tension, leaving your shoulders calm, comfortable, and relaxed. That healing shower flowing down your arms, all the way down over your fingertips, down over your chest and your stomach, soothing and relaxing, healing and cleansing, and allowing yourself to remain comfortably in whatever position you choose. Allow that healing shower to flow down over your upper and lower back. And as your torso relaxes, your internal organs comfortably do whatever they need to do to achieve and maintain your optimal health, your optimal well-being. So that healing shower continues down over your body, down over your hips and your thighs, over your knees, down your lower legs, through your ankles, into your feet. And finally, that relaxation flows over your toes as you allow yourself to relax twice as much, going at least twice as deep with each number as I count backwards: 5, drifting down to 4, floating down to 3, 2, 1, and 0 is deep sleep. Deeper, deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0 is deep sleep. And in this calm, comfortable state of mind and body, go ahead and imagine yourself in some really beautiful place. Some place where you allow yourself to be present to the beauty, the magnificence, the abundance of creation. Allowing yourself to remember that it is here for you as much as anyone else. And allowing yourself to say yes to that. Giving yourself permission to set yourself more and more free to experience all the good that is here for you. Allowing yourself to be open to opportunities, to let go of what might have limited you, what might have held you back from being your happiest self, your healthiest self, even your wealthiest self. Allowing yourself to feel love and compassion for those parts of you that have held you back in the past because of old misunderstandings, old beliefs. about what you should do, about how you should behave, about who you should be. And again, being in this beautiful place and looking around and seeing all the awesomeness that is here to experience and allowing yourself to feel more and more willing to let life get better and better. Allowing yourself to feel that freedom physically, emotionally, spiritually. Just allowing yourself to feel better and better about that as we go even deeper now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 0 is deep sleep. In a moment, I'll count you back out from 0 up to 5. 5 will be wide awake, alert, focused, and energetic, feeling much better than before. Feeling much more open to creating the best life possible, to being the best version of yourself. Really allowing yourself to advance in life. Tonight, when you choose to go to sleep, don't be surprised when you fall asleep quickly, soundly, deeply, and sleep very well through the night. During the night, you'll dream. The more you dream, the stronger you become. I'm going to ask your unconscious mind to allow at least one of your dreams to be a very healing dream. Continuing this healing process in body, mind, and spirit, so that in the morning, at the time you've chosen to wake up, you wake up easily, feeling refreshed, energetic, and ready to start the day again, powerfully moving forward into an ever more joyful experience of an ever greater abundance of health, wealth, happiness, and love, which are your birthright and which benefit others. And now go back down to 0, which is always deep sleep, allowing your mind, body, and spirit to digest all of these positive thoughts and images, taking them in at a very deep level so that these positive changes occur easily, effortlessly, and naturally. Coming up to 1, feeling physically relaxed. 2, feeling emotionally calm and confident. 3, health and well-being, enthusiasm, love, joy, and gratitude flowing through every muscle, nerve, fiber, tissue, cell, and atom of your body. 4, becoming more and more alert and aware of your surroundings. And 5 is eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eyes open wide, wide awake. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you found this beneficial. Hope that you are going to join us in the Advancing Man, and or encourage the guys in your life to join us. And again, that's tapwithbrad.com/advancing man. It's in the chat and in the description box down below. Yeah, during the middle of that guided imagery, I had the thought, I almost quoted the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who said, "How much longer will you wait before you demand the best for yourself?" And looking at what that is. It's okay, Zandex. The replay will be here moments after we stop. You can enjoy it then. Um, and awesome. And thanks again, Evan, for coming up with this idea. I think we're
Oh, my
gonna
pleasure. Thanks for being on board and having me on board with you.
it's gonna do a lot of good for a lot of folks and for the world at large. The more people doing this work, and as we create openings and opportunities for people to feel good about doing this work, the more we up level the planet. So thank you everyone who has joined us.